Well, the Home Office has defended its decision to destroy thousands of immigration documents that recorded arrival dates of the Windrush generation migrants and could have proven their right to remain in the UK.
Well, Labour say the revelation that the landing cards were disposed of was truly shocking, and heads must roll at the Home Office over the scandal, which has resulted in people who've lived in the UK for decades being threatened with deportation.
Well, joining us now, we're very honoured to have him, is the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Prime Minister. Thank you very much for coming in. This is a complete and utter disgrace, isn't it? I mean, let's just not sugarcoat this.
Yeah, it is, especially the new revelation about the destruction of documentary evidence, which could easily help to resolve some of the issues. But I prefer to look at the positive side of it.
What is the positive side of it?
The government reacted and apologized and has put in place, or are putting in place, measures.
But they don't. I mean, you asked the Prime Minister yesterday, and let's remind viewers. These documents, a lot of them were destroyed in 2010 when Theresa May was the Home Secretary. Happened on her watch, right? So when she apologises, that's fine, but actually she was the catalyst for all this, I'm afraid. Let's cut to the quick. When you asked her yesterday, have people been deported, she didn't know, did she?
Well, they weren't able to provide a definitive answer, but they have undertaken to give that definitive answer. My interest is to ensure that the Windrush generation and the children of the Windrush generation get justice. So we have to call it out for what it is, but we also have to ensure that those who have been deported, that they get access to a process that gets them back, that they get their citizenship, that they get their full rights, and that they get access to the benefits that their citizenship will entitle them.
And should they get full compensation? Any legal fees?
My view, clearly, I'm not the British government, but my view is that if there is an acceptance that a wrong was done, then there should be a process of restoration. And I'm certain that the very strong and robust civil society and democracy that you have will come up with a process of compensation.
Because people have been sacked.
Yes.
They've lost their right to work as a result, and they cannot claim
but
benefits.
then it's a matter of the denial of the dignity of the citizenship, which really cannot be restored when you come to think of it. Yes, I agree totally.
People who have worked maybe in the NHS here for 30 years and then lose their jobs because they can't prove they're British anymore.
So
and then they can't even claim benefits because they can't prove they're British. I mean,
I was particularly disturbed by the story of a Jamaican man who was unable to access the NHS and had cancer. And that is what really drew my attention to this.
Were you aware? I mean, were any of the leaders in the Caribbean fully aware of what was going on here in the last few months?
You know, my awareness of it, I can't speak for the rest of the leaders in the Caribbean, but my awareness of it was really within the last 2 months when this story of the Jamaican man who was unable to get treatment for cancer came to light. And then I started to dig a little bit deeper into it. Our High Commissioners here in London started to have meetings about it, and the interest in it grew.
The Cabinet Office Minister, David Lidington, had said that there is no evidence that people have been deported. But I wonder, and the Home Office is investigating, obviously, but I wonder if you are also investigating whether people actually have been deported and taken
we
back
can't
to
say.
Jamaica.
We don't have any evidence of that, but we do have cases where there are persons who came to Jamaica, were unable to go back.
How many of those cases do you think there are?
I don't have the definitive numbers here, but we have seen cases come up in the media. We in Jamaica believe strongly against discrimination. The truth is that our history has been one where we as a people have been discriminated against. So the conversation about tolerance, protecting people's rights, particularly human rights, is one that we take seriously. And Jamaica is evolving. 10 years ago, there would have been a much harder line on the issue of homosexuality, particularly from a religious perspective. But I think that over the last 10 years of conversation, the society is openly discussing the issue, and views are changing. The church in Jamaica does not have a unified position. It is evolving. There is discussion in our parliament now regarding the change to a specific piece of
Would you like
legislation.
personally, as the Prime Minister, to see it decriminalised?
What I would like to see is the process being further opened to bring more people into the discussion. It is a very sensitive issue, but my job as a Prime Minister is to ensure that the human rights of every single person within the country is protected that the constitutional rights are guaranteed.
It's hard not to feel discriminated against if something about your very identity is deemed illegal.
Well, the truth is, and as I've said, not just in Jamaica, but in other countries, there is a process that is taking place. And what I would want the rest of the world to recognize is that there is a legal process that we are going through. And it helps, really, when you have this kind of conversation, and it is done in a way where there's also respect for the process. Remember, it took the UK many years, centuries, to change your laws. And we're going through that process. We're in different stages.
Can you see a point where it will be decriminalised?
My view is that the generations are changing. Their access to information, they're traveling more, they're experiencing more, and they have a stronger view, as I said, about discriminating against people. So I think where we have a commonality is that there should be no discrimination. But I think there should also be a respect for the process that is taking place in Jamaica as a democratic society, as a society that believes in freedom and the protection of human rights.
Prime Minister, let me just ask you generally about the Commonwealth and how important you view it, and indeed our Queen here, who's now in her 90s and still going strong, but in lots of issues going forward about who will be the head of the Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth is a very important grouping of nations. And for Jamaica, we maintain our presence and participation in the Commonwealth for many strategic reasons. We're a small developing country. It is important to have a group of friends, to have a family association. And then as I said earlier, we have shared values. There's a changing international context. You have Brexit. So meaning the British people, have to now figure out where will be your sphere of influence. For many years, your attention was not so much on the Commonwealth. It may very well be that post-Brexit, you will have to focus on the more than 1.5 billion people who are in the Commonwealth, who are, 2/3 of the population are below 30 in the Commonwealth. That's a powerful growing market. That could be a future engine for economic opportunities.
Right.
So Jamaica's position is that we see it as something of strategic value for us.
Yeah. Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, it's good to talk to you this morning. Thank
my
you
pleasure
for
being with
joining
you.
us in the studio.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
And let's hope this Windrush scandal gets resolved very quickly, because honestly, I think it's sickened. Everybody I've spoken to in this country is sickened by what has happened to these people.
Yeah, and my view is that we can't deny people their dignity.